Hi class, welcome to week 5. So this week we're going to wrap up our look at the principles of design by taking a look at the principle of flow. At this time I just want to reinforce the importance of knowing that there are other lists out there that include additional principles of design. This class we're only studying these 6 major principles: emphasis, contrast, balance, repetition, alignment, and flow. But there are other principles out there, so I think it's incumbent on the student to go out and research, get out there on the web and take a look at a couple of different lists of principles of design, and you'll discover that there are additional principles depending on which list you look at. But these are the major ones, and we're going to wrap up our look at these 6 major principles of design by looking at the principle of flow, and we're also going to take a look at some industry standard best practices for using images in visual compositions. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we have this week. Week 5 we have our Chapter 7 overview and our Chapter 8 overview, along with the corresponding lectures for each of those overviews. And then we jump into our week 5 discussion. That's self-explanatory, no reason for us to go into that in this video. We also have week 5 written exercise. Again, self-explanatory, no reason to cover that. Do want to take a look at our peer review and our corporate package. So our week 5 corporate package, we have our corporate package right here. It's the same basic setup as our corporate package that we submitted for week 3. So if you have to go back and review that, please do so. But note, again, the same requirements. 30 sketches due, guys. That's 6 sketches for each of the following: the logo, the business card, the letterhead, corporate image ad, and product ad. So that's 6 sketches for the 5 items. That's 30 sketches. This is for a furniture company. You can go out, guys, listen, you can use any images you want, but you can also use the assets that are located in this folder right here. Please feel free to use any found images. Make sure they're royalty free and make sure they're high resolution as well. Again, here's the same video back from week 3, instructing how to set this assignment up. So again, it's the exact same package, and just by way of review, let's jump over to that course announcement where I covered the requirements for the corporate package. So this is how to complete week 3 corporate package, but it's the exact same thing. So if you want to review that, just to make yourself aware and to refresh your recollection of what was due for the corporate package. Okay, that leaves us with our peer review on concept. And what does this mean? So we've introduced this is for the final project. And by the way, the final project is going to rebrand. It entails rebranding a logo for your chosen company and then creating a very detailed ad using all of the principles of design that we have studied in the class. So week 3, we decided, we gave our 3 choices. Week 4, we kind of rationalized our choices, and you got feedback. I gave you feedback on your choices. Okay, week 5, you're going to take your comments and feedback from week 4, and you're going to discuss which company you're planning on selecting for your final project selection. You want to explain how you made your decisions, what ideas you have planned to implement what ideas you have planned to implement. So how are you going to approach this? What are your ideas? What is your plan? And then comment on the feedback that you received. Okay, and that pretty much covers the welcome to week 5. Of course, we have the week 5 quiz, but I want to jump over to the course announcement just to give you a kind of another further introduction. To week 5, we have flow, image flow, and flow basically describes how the eye is guided through the ad. Okay, and then we have this use of image. So we can see, I think one of the main things I want to mention about image right now, and I really want you guys to lock this in, okay? So this kind of corresponds hand in hand with the analysis of that vintage Apple ad that we look like. Now, reactions to that were mixed. Most students didn't appreciate it. And I am in that school of thought. I don't think it was an effective ad at all. I think it was very haphazard. I think it was chaotic, to say the least. So the main thing I want you to take out of that is that the amount of copy that was used in that ad and the imagery as well. Contemporary advertising differs from vintage advertising in that designers now use imagery much more associated with the conceptual message than ever before in the past. And that means there's a lot less body copy in our ads these days and in the ads that we see, and a lot more imagery. That's not to say that in your final ad for the final project, you're only to use images. You're not. You're supposed to use everything that you have at your disposal to create a good ad. Now, this is an extreme ad because it's got very little type text, but it's got a great image. And the point I'm trying to make here is that in contemporary advertising, designers use imagery very, very much to tell a story, as opposed to vintage advertising where the story was told using words. And I think the main difference there, I think a lot of students got alluded to the fact that our attention spans based on multiple media that we are bombarded with every day, as well as the way that the internet has kind of shifted our attention spans. So our conceptual approach to advertising has changed dramatically in the last 10 years or so, as we can clearly see by the use of imagery. And I think I would like you to keep that in mind as you go through this week's work, lectures, and specifically the lectures on imagery, and think about how that corresponds to contemporary advertising. Okay, week 5 plan at a glance. Now you've got your outside links for both flow and images, so be sure to take a look at those. We got our week 5 plan at a glance for both flow and images, our tasks, and moving forward. Next week we'll start looking at color. All right, so welcome to week 5, guys. Any questions, comments, concerns, clarifications? I will be glad to provide in that regard. Just let me know. Those of you who have been asking questions know that you're not waiting for me for an answer. I mean, I get back to you pretty much immediately. So do not hesitate to ask a question for fear that you'll be waiting for an answer. You won't be waiting. All right, guys, again, welcome to week 5. And again, the most important thing at this point is to reiterate the fact that if you have any questions at all, please get with me immediately. All right, guys, thanks very much. See you in the discussion board.